Good afternoon, my friends. Thank you for joining us for one more session of Kardec After Lunch, hosted by Kardec Radio. Oops, right here. So we are a one of the initiatives of spiritismstudy.org. But let me make a couple of announcements here. Feel free to download Kardec Radio's app, available free of charge for Android or iPhone, and listen to Kardec Radio's programs and podcasts. Feel encouraged to send questions, comments, or suggestions to Kardec Radio's Twitter account. And although all of this work is done by volunteers, there are costs associated with web and app hosting, along with broadcast and publishing. So if you're able to, please be kind and donate so this work of love may continue for many years to come. Also, be encouraged to interact, ask comments, questions, suggestions. They're all welcome. Okay. And let us start our study. We're going to be reading from the Medium's book right up there. Okay. And if you happen to have this edition right here of the book, you can open it up on page number 149. Okay. And you can follow along our reading. Feel free, once again, to ask questions, send suggestions, whichever. And if I feel like the audience could benefit from it, I will put your comment up on the screen if you're watching this live, of course. If you're watching on demand, also feel free to send questions, comments, or suggestions, and I'll try to respond as quick as possible, okay? So 149, number 19, that's the item we are. We're talking about visual manifestations. We are on chapter number 6. So the question is, does the seeing of spirits occur in the normal state or only during ecstasy? And the answer is, it can occur under perfectly normal conditions. However, those who see them are almost always in a special state which approaches ecstasy and which gives them a kind of a second sight. And there's a note saying, see the Spirits book number 447. Oh, thank you, Solange Souza, for your support. I appreciate it. And then we go on to question number 20. Do those who see spirits do so with their eyes? And the answer is, they think they do, but in reality, it's their soul that sees them. This is proven by the fact that they can still see them with their eyes closed. And also, not mentioned here, but I imagine it just came to my mind right now. What about blind people? Do you think blind people are unable to see or to dream? Uh, Dreaming of a visual manifestation? And that's more of a question than a statement. Uh, Number 21. How can a spirit render itself visible? And the answer is, the principle is the same as for all other manifestations. It resides in the properties of the perispirit, which can undergo as many modifications as the spirit sees fit. Of course, not only, I imagine, not only there is a ability of the spirit, but also it's a very important note, permission. Some modifications, especially appearance to deceive others, not permitted, not allowed. Okay. I have a comment here by Felicia. Thank you for your support. Blessings. Beautiful message always. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, and little from Solange Souza. Thank you. Number 22. Can a spirit per se make itself visible, or can it only do so with the aid of the perispirit? And the answer is, in your material state, spirits can only manifest themselves with the aid of their semi-material envelope, which is their intermediary, which they act upon your senses. Under this envelope, they can appear in human form or any other, whether in dreams or in the waking state. whether in full light or in darkness. So you see how it is very. Oh, hello, Beth Cruz. Thank you also for your support. It is very important for us to educate ourselves so we less inclined to commit mistakes in regard to interpretation of why something is happening, or why is the providential reason for it, right? And also that will be paramount because we'll be following one of the maxims of spiritism, which is love one another and educate yourselves, right? So we are going to number 23. Could, sorry, could we say that it is through a condensation of the perispirit's fluid that the spirit makes itself visible? And the answer is condensation is not the right word. It only serves to make a comparison that can help you understand the phenomena, while in reality, there is no actual condensation. The combining of fluids produces a special condition in the spirit, which also has no analogy for you, but which renders the spirit visible nonetheless. Oh, we also have likes here from Leandro Stoll. Thank you. It's really appreciated. And so, all of those things, uh, the spirits come to tell us, come to enlighten us, so we can perhaps leave behind some of the mysticism that we created or adopted throughout the ages, right? So it is important. However, keep in mind that I, at least particularly, I encourage the sequential education in Spiritism or reading with that regards, meaning that you should start from page one of the Spirit's book. Remember, I said page one, not question one, because that will give you foundation necessary for you to absorb the teachings they are given in subsequent books. Okay. Question number 24. Are the spirits who appear always intangible and inaccessible? The answer is in their normal state, they are intangible like in a dream. Nevertheless, they can make an impression upon your sense of touch and leave signs of their presence. In some cases, they can even render themselves tangible for a moment, which proves the existence of some kind of matter between them and you. Ronaldo Correa is also hello from Coral Springs, Florida, and we are broadcasting from Pinellas Park, Florida. Thank you for your support. So, number 25, is everyone capable of seeing spirits? Very, I don't say important, but a very enlightening question, right? So, is it mediums the only ones able to, or is anyone able to? So, the answer is during sleep, yes, but not while awake. During sleep, the soul sees directly without an intermediary. While you are awake, the soul is influenced by the organs to different degrees. Thus, the conditions are not the same in the two instances. Um, Solange has also sent a couple more blessings. Appreciate it. But you see, in the waking state, some have referred many times to the body as the prison of flesh in which the spirit resides. And this prison dulls our senses, and the spirit is not able to have the freedom uh, to feel or behave in a way as it can while in its in um, I guess more roaming state when you were sleeping or of course when we make the transition back to the spiritual world, right? Question number 26. What does the faculty for seeing spirits in the waking state depend on? The answer is it depends on the organism and the greater or lesser ease with which the fluid of the seer combines with that of the spirit. Hence, it is not enough for the spirit simply to want to show itself. The spirit must find the required aptitude in the individual to whom it wants to show itself. So, you see, there is not just the will and the permission that is required from the spirit, the discarnate spirit. The incarnate spirit, which us, also has to have some aptitude. So if ourselves, if we will have mediumship ability, not only the ability itself, but an aptitude, a affinity to be able to make that connection, all right? And if we are not the medium or ourselves, then of course someone with the mediumship abilities and the right affinity can act as an intermediary for us in certain communications, being the spoken one or the written one, of course, not the visual one, right? That could describe it for us. Continue. So actually, this is a sub question to item number 26. Can this faculty be developed through practice? Also, a very noteworthy question because some people have decided to try to develop their mediumship abilities through which many different reasons. It is important enough for us to um, be aware of if there is a possibility, should we pursue? So let's read it. It can be, as can all other faculties. However, it is a faculty that is better left to develop naturally rather than artificially, because in the latter case, sorry, there is a risk of overexciting the imagination. So, in sorry, let's continue here. The common and permanent ability to see spirits, its exceptional and normal human conditions are not conducive to it. So, it is very um, it's rare for someone to be able to see spirits all the time, and well, of course, it will be troublesome for that person to be able to behave or to live in the material life without being perhaps able to make the differentiation between who is incarnate, who is not. Uh, I believe there are a couple of mediums from Brazil, very renowned ones, who have mentioned not being able to drive a car, particularly for that reason. Number 27. Can spirit apparitions be artificially induced? And the answer is sometimes that is possible, but very rarely. They are almost always spontaneous. For someone to see spirits, they must be endowed with a special faculty. And as we get into the end of our reading for today, and just a little explanation for those who are not perhaps aware of why we do this. So we do it very quick. We do it simply, spontaneously. We do it reading directly from the book, just a little bit of reading and commentary. So you can see not just how easy it is for you to start studying Spiritism, but also we do it during the day. Try to reach you during your daily routine, because I feel that many of us perhaps treat Spiritism as a extracurricular activity which doesn't really take part in our lives. Some of us only have them to have a chance to go to your local Spiritist society on the weekends. And like I said, perhaps this it's not conducive for us to apply, which really what we should be doing, apply or learning, apply what we have been discussing about in our daily lives. Not just because it's easy being a Spiritist at the Spiritist society. It's a whole nother thing, and that's the important one, to be a spiritist out there with your family, with friends, with unknown persons in the street, also but with your coworkers. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you to Kardec Radio. And until next time, Godspeed to all.